All right, so we've been talking about factors, and now we're going to look at the greatest common factor. Just some notes so that you have it for later. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a polynomial and we're going to factor out the greatest common factor, the GCF. And to do that, you need to know what the factors are of every number in the polynomial. So I'm going to write out each number, 6, 2, and 8. And we're going to write out what are the factors of 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 6. Meaning what numbers multiply to give you 6? All of those. If I think about 1, I have 1 and 2, and that's it. And then if I think about 8, I have 1, 2, 4, and that's it. And so what we're looking for is the greatest number that goes into all three of those numbers, and that would be 2. So I'm going to pull out 2. If I pull out a 2, what's left of the 6? And we're dividing here, okay? Because if we would work backwards, we're multiplying. So if I divide out a 2, I'm left with 3x squared. If I divide out a 2 here, I'm left with a positive 1x. And if I divide out a 2 here, I'm left with a negative 4. And so that's what pulling out the greatest common factor looks like. So on number 2, I have 3 numbers again. And so I'm going to look at those 3 numbers. What are the factors? So for 15, I have 1, 3, and 5. For 10, I have 1, 2, and 5. And I guess we should also say 15 up here. We should say 10 down here. Just like over here, we probably should have said 8. And then for 5, it's just 1 and 5. And so what's the biggest number that goes into all 3 of these? Well, since the smallest number is 5, that can also be our biggest number. So here, I'm going to pull a 5 out. So if I pull a 5 out, I'm dividing what's left. 15 divided by 5 is 3t squared. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And 5 divided by 5 is 1. And that was a minus sign, so 1. Okay. For number 3, I have 36 and 24. And what are my factors? So what numbers go into 36? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, and 18, and then 36. Right? 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 6 and 6. If I look at 24, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and now we're 8, 12, and 24. And so what's the greatest number that goes into both? 12. So that means I'm going to pull 12 out. What would be left? 36 divided by 12 is 3y. Negative 24 divided by 12 is negative 2. And so that would be my answer. And one more, number 4. I have 4 numbers here. I have 4. The numbers that go into 4 are 1, 2, and 4. Numbers that go into 6 are 1, 2, 3, and 6. And the numbers that go into 10 are 1, 2, 5, and 10. Now, the biggest number that goes into all 3 is 2. That's my greatest common factor. So I'm going to pull a 2 out, and if I divide every number by 2, what's left? 4 divided by 2 is 2x squared. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3x. And 10 divided by 2 is positive 5.